finally have enough money to buy the magic armor from Mallow Mart. You bought it. You are smart. You bought it at Mallow Mart. Everybody dance. So, the armor works off of rupees. Basically, it makes you invincible as long as you have rupees. It costs 2 rupees per second. As you can kind of see here, it costs about 2 rupees per second of invincibility. So if you've got a full wallet, that's great, that's fantastic. But if you don't have any money, well, you're not going to be invincible for very long. So Telma is telling us to visit Russell. Russell's in some sort of forest. The Sacred Grove? Oh no, wait, we have to go back to the Sacred Grove? Oh dear. So Russell's right over here. You know, near the Forest Temple. He's talking about how the world has changed so much since the start of the game, and honestly, this area looks exactly the same as it did at the beginning. What are you talking about, Russell? Ancient temple, huh? Well, I've been to the Sacred Grove, but I did not see an ancient temple. Sure, Russell, sure, I'll do your job for you. I will find this temple. And this is cute. Previously, we did Midna jumps to get through this area. This time around, we're going to use a golden chicken. It's definitely a beautiful chicken. So the golden chicken lets you jump super far. Well, more accurately, it lets you glide super far. So you want to use it to get over to this area. Here you're gonna have to put it down temporarily. Last time we were here, there were 2 bridges. Now there's only 1. And you have to manually move the bridge with the boomerang. The other change to this area is the tightropes. The tightropes are gone. Previously, you walked across tightropes as Wolf Link. And I like this. I like that the challenge is basically the same, but it's slightly different now that you're a human and not a wolf. I like that. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the challenge of the Skull Kid inside the Sacred Grove, which we'll see in a moment. It's the same basic challenge, it's been changed a little bit now that you're a human, and you'll notice my chicken is going to magically disappear. Yeah, where did the chicken go? I don't know. It just went away. Anyway, as I was saying, same basic challenge, changed because you're now a human. Now you're going to have to follow lights on the Skull Kid, and you're going to have to use your bow and arrow, because he's going to be in areas that you can't physically reach. So here's the premise. He is carrying a lantern here, and you want to follow the lantern light in order to catch up with him. So yeah, if you're heading in the right direction, you have light from the lantern. And this helps here at the beginning, you know, finding him the first time around. Finding him the second and third time, the lantern light isn't very useful, and I got lost. I spent about 15 minutes wandering around trying to find him, so I'm just gonna cut that out of the video. Yeah, I'll just skip to the parts where I actually find the Skull Kid, because I don't want this video to be super long. Actually, what helped me find him was not the light so much as the music, because, you know, he plays on his little trumpet thing, and that's a good way to locate him. And there we go. Once you hit him 3 times, he's going to lead you through the maze to the fight area. This is the exact same area we fought with him earlier. Slightly more difficult this time around. Once again, you're going to have to use your bow and arrow to hit him. Because this time, all of the platforms have been lifted up off of the ground. Fair warning, this is not going to be a clean fight. This is going to be kind of an ugly fight. I am not very good at fighting these enemies. It's probably easier just to use your sword and just kill them right away. Because every time I use my bow and arrow to try to fight, you know, try to hit the Skull Kid, I get interrupted by the mannequin enemies. I don't know what they're called. They sort of remind me of the Wheelers from Ozma of Oz, if you've ever read that book. Just the way that they sort of float and wheel around the area. Okay, so if I was really, really good, I would have been able to, you know, hit the Skull Kid right there at the very beginning. That would have been nice. But the strategy is what I was doing there, where you just kill all of the Wheeler enemies and then hit the Skull Kid while he's regenerating them. Or alternately, you know, hit the Skull Kid in the 3 or 4 seconds you have before the Wheeler enemies show up and attack you. Oh man, really? You know, if you're lucky, you can get off a shot in between the attacks. You know, that's what I keep trying to do. And it looks like the Skull Kid moves around. Yeah, he does not stay in the same place forever. Where is he? There. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. You know, run away. You know, that way, you know, it takes a couple seconds for the Wheelers to catch up to me, and maybe get a shot off in those seconds. And Skull Kid moved again. So yeah, not the cleanest fight, like I said, and it looks like my attempts at alternate strategies didn't work, so just do the same basic strategy of killing all the Wheelers and then attacking the Skull Kid while he blows his trumpet. So he gives you access to a brand new area, and we've been here before, but this time we're going to be in the upper level of the area. Previously we were downstairs. So here in this upper level, what you want to do is push this block. You push this block. That connects the upper level and the lower level. So now you can go between these two areas whenever you want. And you'll notice we have a very, very interesting door here. Our goal is to get through the door and reach the temple. And Midna just waxes poetic about the deep, sacred forest. Well, what you're supposed to do is go over here and just drop your Master Sword into the pedestal. This will send Link backwards in time 7 years. No, wait. It will destroy the statue. It will destroy the statue. So now we can get through that fancy door. I'm going to be honest here. I had a really hard time solving that puzzle. I just could not figure out what I was supposed to do, and you know, it just took several minutes before I realized, oh, you put the Master Sword in the pedestal. Similarly, this fight here took me a long time, so I'm just gonna cut out 2 minutes of failure with this fight, because I tried fighting them as Human Link. It ended up not working, so I switched over to Wolf Link. I have been told that these enemies are not called Shadow Beasts. They are actually called Messengers. Why are they called Messengers? They don't send any messages, do they? Huh, yeah, that's a strange title for these enemies, but I just should note that, hey, that's their official name. They are Messengers. And now they've created a warp point, so I no longer have to do that challenge with the Skull Kid. Yes! 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 Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. So now that the door has been opened, Link is going to go inside to reach the next dungeon. Whoa, wrong way, Link. Open it from this side. this part right here is super cool if you've played Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. They basically recreated the Temple of Time from that game. Oh, the music, the scenery, it's amazing! Those statues are new, but whatever. And this puzzle didn't cause me any trouble. It's obvious here that you want to put the sword into the stone. That creates a set of magic stairs leading to the dungeon. Cool. Oh, and now Uku and Uku Jr. are just going to appear from out of nowhere. Where did those chickens come from? Yeah, no, seriously, where did they come from? Were they just, like, hiding in a bush the entire time for the past 5 minutes, just waiting for me to open the dungeon? Huh. Well, before I go into the dungeon, let's do some wrap-up. We have a golden bug over here, inside the Temple of Time. It's a snail. There's also one in this area, you know, just sort of in between the upper and lower levels. With both snails, you have to use the claw shot, because snails are sticky, so they kind of stick to things. This means I have all golden bugs, and I'm giving them to Agitha. Little snail, I'd like to take a bath in your slime. Ew. Ew. That's disgusting. Yuck. What are you... No. Ugh. Okay, well, as a reward for getting all the golden bugs, we get the giant wallet. Woohoo! Now for pieces of heart. We've got a piece of heart here in Northern Hyrule with this wall that you can bomb. It's very close to a golden bug. We've been in this area before. When you go inside the cave, you find an ice block, which you can destroy with the ball and chain. This gives you a series of 3 slider puzzles. The first slider puzzle is really simple. You just want to get all 3 blocks lined up. The solution to this puzzle is pretty much identical to the second slider puzzle in Snow Peak Ruins. That is, you're going to push 2 blocks down, and then your solution is to push the back block down and around and push it down from on top. I'm thinking that maybe they came up with a bunch of different slider puzzles for Snow Peak Ruins, and they couldn't fit them all into the dungeon, so they took the 3 leftover slider puzzles and just threw them here. I guess that's possible. So yeah, this one is easy. It's basically not too different from the second slider puzzle in Snow Peak. The second one, this second slider puzzle here is a monster, and it basically requires you to get these pieces in the perfect starting positions. Well, getting the first piece in place isn't that tough. You get those 2 slider blocks right next to each other, then you push the one down and around, and you're basically going to do the same thing with this block. You're going to push it around in a big circle so it's next to the other one. So those two blocks which started off next to each other are again next to each other. Now you just move the 3rd block all the way around into the spot where it needs to go. I find this more difficult than the other slider puzzles because the scenery, because we've got this little block over here on the side. It's not just a rectangle like the other 2 slider puzzles are. They've got corners, and that's what makes it difficult. The 3rd one is probably the hardest for people because it requires a lot of visualization and planning moves in advance. It's basically a 5x5 grid, and you're sliding blocks onto it. So start with the 3 blocks in a row. Alright, we're going to push those 2 around like that. And now we've got one block in the inner, block, I guess you would say, the 9x9 square of inner tiles. And we're gonna push this block all the way down and around. I don't know if my strategy of pushing blocks down and around is the fastest strategy, but it seems to work. It works just fine, so that's what I do. It's also easier to remember if you're just doing the same basic motion. As you can see here, I'm doing the same basic motion, just moving them down and around. So now that these two blocks are side by side, this one block is on the same line as that one block, and now we're 1 square away from the slider block. Hooray! Or 1 square away from the switch that we're trying to push down. Alright, now I push that block north, and then I just push this block to the switch. Maybe it's a good idea that they put these slider puzzles, in a separate area by themselves instead of putting them in the dungeon. That could have made the dungeon, way too impossible for people to solve. I don't know. I kind of like slider puzzles. So, right. In the previous video, we got a golden wolf using the Howling Stone inside Snowhead Peak. So this golden wolf is going to teach us a brand new move. We meet again. There are but a few hidden skills. If you fail, you're going to be killed. Do you still want to learn? Well, no, I don't. That sounds way too difficult. Oh yeah, and the Mortal Draw. My favorite attack. I need to use it more often. I really do. It's super useful. So the 6th hidden skill is the Jump Strike. This one can be useful if you're far enough away from enemies. If you're too close to enemies, then it's not too useful. So the jump attack is basically useless against multiple enemies. What you have to do is press and hold down the A button. And then do your jump attack. So it's a normal jump attack, except you're holding the A button for much longer. And it works here against these enemies, because these enemies aren't coming towards you and attacking. But when the enemies are coming towards you and attacking, they will attack you while you're charging up your attack, making it pretty much useless. Because, obviously that cancels your attack if you're attacked in, mid-charge. So I probably will not be using that skill very often, if at all. It's not super useful. And thank you very much, Skeleton Man. Thanks for the pep talk. Okay, Poes. We also have Poes. So what you want to do is, from Snow Peak Ruins, you want to go up here. Just climb up that little mountain, and that leads you to a Poe. Oh my gosh, and I completely forgot to mention, there's the Poe in the Sacred Grove. The one by the Master Sword pedestal. I completely forgot to, show you me getting that Poe. But yeah, get the Poe, it's right where the pedestal is. And Yeto, I just challenged Yeto the Yeti to a snowboarding challenge. You want to beat him, it's pretty simple, just go under a minute and 30 seconds and you'll win. Then you're going to try to beat his wife, and she's a lot faster. So this is failure at 1 minute, 17 seconds, and 86 milliseconds, which is so... ugh. I spent an hour on this challenge, over an hour on this challenge. It was awful. It just takes forever and ever and ever for you to get the time to beat Yeta. I think that programming here is one person. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but basically, the farther ahead you are, the faster she goes, you know, in order to make it fair. So the farther behind you are, the slower she goes. Hopefully that is also the case. But yeah, here in the first part, you really want to catch a lead on her in the first part, because that's basically the area where you can go a lot faster. The second half of the race, she's going to be pretty much on target this route. But she's not going to take any major diversions from this main route. And I took a jump there. You don't have to jump here, but I jumped for safety, because usually if I don't take a safety jump, I fall down. Milliseconds. So there was a half-second difference between this race and that previous race that I lost. Oh. But winning the race gives me the peace of heart. And I won't tell your husband that you love me more than him. Well, you love to race me.